Whoa! Weird feeling. But as they press, they'll see and feel these are supposed to be black. Every single one of those you got. Let's see. Hi, I'm Michael Ammar, and I've got a little time in between shows. Would you like to see some magic that you can do? I've arranged here the top of a balloon. I've cut it off and I've placed a few coins on there. Susan, I've got a quarter, I've got a nickel, I've got a dime. Name any two of those coins.
Dime and a quarter.
The dime and the quarter, okay. So we'll eliminate the nickel. Name any one of the two remaining coins.
Quarter.
Okay, I'll eliminate the dime. I'd like you to take your index finger, just like this. Now, you saw E.T., didn't you? Mm-hmm. Where he like concentrated on the tip of his finger and it started to glow, and he did like the little magic thing with it. I want you to concentrate on the tip of your finger. I want you to come right over and place it right on top of the quarter. Right on top of the quarter. Now concentrate and give her a little push. Keep going. And pull your finger out. Is there a hole there? There's no hole? Wow, good job, Susan. Although I've been a professional magician with a wonderful life, traveling around the world for the last 20 years performing magic, I had the most non-magical beginning possible. Growing up in a small coal mining community in West Virginia, it was very difficult to find the right kind of information and advice on how to become a magician. So during our time together, I'm going to share with you the things I wish I had known when I first began my exciting journey into the wonderful world of magic. As we go, I'll also share with you some amazing magic that you'll be able to perform almost anywhere. So let's begin with the secret to the impossible penetration. It uses a common, clear balloon, and you cut the end of the balloon off. And then you're going to balance a coin, in this case a quarter, on top of something smaller, such as a glue stick or a lipstick holder. Balance the coin there, and then what you'll do is pull the rubber until it's so clear that you can see the coin through it. You press it down onto the coin, and it will actually take that coin into itself, and yet so thin is the rubber on top of the coin that you can see right through it. Now, you'll place that on top of a glass. It's a good idea to go ahead and lock that onto the glass with a rubber band. There we go. And now, to really make it deceptive, you can place a couple of other coins on top as well. Now you'll use something which is known as the magician's choice. Ultimately, you're going to leave them with the quarter on top of the balloon. But you say, name any two coins. Now, if they should happen to name the dime and the nickel, just take the dime and the nickel off. If they should happen to name the quarter with one of the other two coins, you say, okay, those will stay, and I'll take this one off. Name either one of these. If they name the quarter, you say, okay, the quarter will stay. If they name the nickel, you say, okay, I'll remove the nickel. And now, and this is really amazing, as they press onto the coin, and this is such a weird feeling, but as they press, they'll see and feel the coin literally pass through what seems to be an absolutely solid surface. It's an amazing effect. I hope you'll give it a try. It's called the impossible penetration. Now, if you have a magic shop in your area, take advantage of the chance to see something performed before you buy it. A good magic salesperson will ask how much experience you have and where will you likely perform the things that you buy. When I first started magic in West Virginia, there wasn't a shop in the entire state, so I phoned up Magic Incorporated in Chicago and explained that the local Brownie Scouts had asked if I would give a 20-minute show. Now, this would be my first structured show, and I was going to be paid $20. That's $1 a minute. At the magic shop, they pointed out I wasn't going to make a profit at this rate because the tricks cost about $200 that I was buying, but everything they sold me I was able to use, and I actually got through my first show in one piece. Now, I don't really recommend this as the best way to get into performing, but the point is, although a magic shop is in business to sell magic, they understand the best way to get repeat business is to provide magic you will enjoy performing. But just to be sure, don't spend all your money on your first trip. Buy and try a few things just to make sure you're heading in the right direction, just as you would with any new venture. Now, dollar for dollar, good videos and good books generally contain the best value because there you might find the knowledge to perform 20 tricks, such as the bouncing roll, which you might get more fun and use out of than a trick that might sell for $100. So there's rarely a correlation between how much a trick costs and how much magic fun you can get out of it. Well, this is interesting. I mean, that seems to be a normal roll, doesn't it?
Yep.
Well, it's all practical. Smells like bread.
Yeah.
Feels like bread.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, if I just snap, it changes completely. I mean, it still looks like a roll, only now it's made out of rubber. It's made out, I'll prove it, see? Whoa! So you got to be careful when you eat the chef surprise around here. Well, let's see. I'll tell you what else I can try. Let me see. Let me get it just right here. Okay, this is kind of a dangerous thing to do with a roll, but let's see. If I can just cast a shadow over it like this, it starts to change again. This time, it becomes lighter than air. Starts to float. Whoa, whoa, wait.
Oh my gosh.
It's a floating roll. But wait, whoa, it's gone. Well, that's how you make bread rise, I guess.
I guess so.
This fun illusion can be done with anything you can hold in your hand. The illusion portion of this effect takes place below the level of the table. So whenever you do this, make sure you can guard against someone seeing what actually happens below the table. See, the hand holding the roll makes an exaggerated motion for throwing the roll to the floor, but it doesn't let go of the roll. Instead, as soon as it passes below the viewer's line of vision, it turns and sharply flicks upward. Be sure not to show the motion of the upward flick with your upper arm and shoulders, and the roll will come back into view looking exactly as if it had just bounced like a rubber ball. You can even stomp your foot at the moment the roll would have bounced on the floor to add the illusion of sound. I hope you'll give it a try because it's really neat. Now, as far as the floating roll is concerned, this is interesting. You take a fork and you place it into the corner of a roll. Now, this is going to be sitting in your lap, covered with your napkin. You'll place the roll right on to the center of the table, and as you pick up the napkin, what's going to happen is that roll and the fork is going to dangle behind the napkin. as you'll come over the roll, you'll kind of kick the visible roll into your lap as you cover what seems to be that roll. Now, here's what your situation is, but it seems as if just a roll is there, and then what you'll do is just seem to lift the roll while holding the corners of the handkerchief, and boy, it sure looks as if the roll is floating. You can even bring it up to the edge of the handkerchief, just like this, or the napkin, so that they can see a view of the floating roll, and then it takes off again. Now, to make everything disappear, again, here's what's taking place behind. As you come down to the edge of the table, just let go of the fork as you flick the napkin like that, and everything will seem to disappear. Now, as far as other sources for magical information, you'll want to check your local bookstore as well as the library. It's possible you might find only older books, and while they still contain valuable information, the last 20 years has seen an explosion of information that's much more user-friendly, as well as frequently better and easier ways to perform some of the effects. Of course, real students should read as much as possible because it all contributes to your magical foundation. The explosive growth of the internet now makes possible almost universal access to an amazing range of magical information. Everything from chat lines to professional interviews and reviews of current magic books, tricks, and videos. Some sites require you to answer questions to determine your level of knowledge and experience because they only allow the serious students to participate, while others welcome almost anyone interested in magic. New magic sites open every day, but the websites we are listing, along with any good search engine, will give you plenty of information on almost any magic topic. This next trick is the one which convinced me that I could do magic. I saw it performed by the class comedian who sat across from me in study hall in the 9th grade. So you know how I know I don't have iron poor blood?
How?
It's because you can take a coin and you rub it straight into your skin, just like this, all the way through your blood system until it comes out of your ear, just like that. That's a good way to know.
Yeah, it is.
That simple effect took me completely by surprise. So I pestered him into doing it again and then again. You know, I'd always loved magic, but never dreamed that normal people could do it. But when I saw this particular guy doing it, I thought, well, shoot, if he can do it, I can do it too. So I nagged him into teaching me how he did it. And that simple effect became my first step into the world of magic. Now, here's another effect you can use with the same technique you're going to learn. I'm just looking, you know, every table has a soft spot. If you can find it, that seems to be where it is. You can actually cause the coin to go straight through the table. It's that spot there. Right there. The first fundamental is holding the coin in your hand so that no one can see it or even suspect that it's there. The most important part of this is for your hands to look natural. So look at your hands when they're normal and natural and see what they do. Mine taper in and curl naturally like this. So I want them to look that way when I'm hiding a coin. Put a coin where the fingers meet the hand and curl the fingers in naturally, just enough to hold it there. Once you get it there, you should be able to hold it there without even thinking about this. You can, of course, do it with both hands. To learn how to do it, hold that coin there all day long for a couple of days. Keep it there while you walk, talk, eat, and drive, and soon you'll be able to hold it there without any conscious thought. Now, the next technique is the fake take. holding the coin at the base of the fingers as you've practiced, and pick the coin up. Only you don't really pick it up. You fake as if you take it. Watch closely and you'll see that both hands do something important. One hand acts as if it picks up the coin and shows it. The other naturally curls in, then lowers in a steady, natural way. To practice the timing, alternate taking the coin with your fake take. After a dozen or so timing rehearsals, do this in front of a mirror. When your fake take looks and feels the same as your real take, and when you can fake take the coin as easily as you would really take it, you'll be ready. One thing that you'll want to watch for is just make sure that there's no gaps between the fingers that would cause the coin to be shown from the front. Now, another interesting concept with coins is known as the Downs palm. Invented at the turn of the century by T. Nelson Downs, the king of coins. All you have to do is make sure that the coin is flat to their line of vision, blocked by the thumb, just like this. To get that into position, these two fingers just curl in and leave it between the thumb and the base of the index finger. If you would like to show your hands front and back, you can either touch the fingers this way and come back and forth, or curl them in so that the coin is covered as you then produce the coin. That's into Downs palm, and that's producing it from Downs palm. I loved learning this when I got started, because the ability to reach into the air and produce a coin from what seemed to be an empty hand really made me feel like a magician. Just watch your angles as you do it. Now, once you know the technique of finger palming and the fake take, you'll be ready to perform elbow grease, as well as the coin through the table, and lots of other coins based on these simple techniques. The only other technique you'll need is the ability to act. Now, not a lot of acting. About the same amount of acting it takes to act happy when your Aunt Minnie kisses you on the cheek. You use this acting to set up the fake take. You seem to rub the coin into your forearm, but as you do, you act as if you drop it. It's a subtle moment, so don't run around going, "Oh my, I've dropped the coin." Just calmly pick it up while you continue talking and do the fake take. The right hand continues to rub against the forearm and then shows the coin gone before pulling it out of your ear. As a follow-up, if you'd like, you can make the coin completely disappear as you rub it into your elbow by just dropping it down your shirt. The coin through the table also uses the fake take. The hand with the coin taps the table in unison with the hand above the table. Roger Klaus came up with the nice touch of adding the sliding sound and the snap to emphasize the moment the coin passes through the table. Now, here's another routine with some coins, which you can use from your pocket. Well, let's see what I've got here. Okay, this might be interesting. With just 3 coins, if I were to take 2 of those coins and place them into my hand, and I put 1 of those coins into my pocket, give it a little squeeze like this, I've still got 1, 2, 3 coins. Now, you might have missed it the first time, so I'll do it again. I'll take 2 over here. I'll put 1 into my pocket. If I give it a little squeeze, I've still got 1, 2, 3 coins. I'll do it again. Take 2 here, 1 into my pocket. If I give it a little squeeze, I've got 1, 2, 3 coins. You can do it all day long, but if I put 1 here and 2 in my pocket, how many do I have in my hand?
1.
Oh, that's what I would have guessed.
3.
3, no, 3 off.
Oh.
Just
Wow. That was great.
This full routine uses the finger palm, the fake take, and another coin technique known as the shuttle pass. The shuttle pass begins with 1 coin hidden in finger palm. The opposite hand shows 3 coins, one of which rests in finger palm position. As you dump the coins into your other hand, hold on to the one in finger palm. As the other 2 fall onto the coin in the other hand, just as that hand turns palm up. This is more of a timing move than anything else, as one hand turns down just as the other turns palm up. The end result is subtle yet important, because you clearly show both hands empty except for the 3 coins, and yet you continue to hide an extra coin in finger palm. To perform, put 2 coins into the hand, finger palming the coin. As the opposite hand seems to put a coin away, it simply hides it in finger palm. Make the magic happen and show 3 coins. Repeat by putting 2 coins into the hand with the finger palm, and once again finger palming as you seem to put one away. After doing this several times, you condition them to expect 3 coins returning. So to conclude, as you seem to put that one away, leave it away, showing only 3, and then comes your fake take. As you fake take a single coin, and then take the other 2 to the pocket and leave them all there. You have a psychological advantage here, because they will expect 3 coins to appear in your hand. So when you open your hand to show it empty, many people will feel as if 3 coins disappeared, not just 1. Now, something I've used with great success was to make a little routine out of these simple moves. For example, with a coin and the roll. Well, you can show the roll clearly and then cause a coin to vanish. Now, bounce the roll a couple of times and then seem to remove the coin from the roll. All you do is keep the coin in finger palm. Do the bouncing roll, and when you place the roll onto your hand, you push the coin up into the roll from below. Then, as you break it open, emphasize that the coins seem to come right from the center of the roll. Learning these simple sleight of hand with coins gave me a great feeling, because I knew anytime, any place, I could reach in my pocket and do something magical. Now, anybody have any idea what these are?
Sponges.
Sponges, exactly. It's cut from a sponge just like you might have around the house. May I borrow your right hand? You can stay attached to your arm, but if you just put it right there, it's a simple little counting thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Squeeze it tight. So if I squeeze just like this, watch. Boom, mine's gone. Did yours go?
Open it?
Yeah. Oh! These sponges were cut from 1-inch sponges, which comes from any grocery store. A magic shop can provide round sponges that are very soft, but if you can't find those, the soft sponges you cut yourself will work pretty well. The secret is a slightly different version of the fake transfer. Instead of a fake take, which you learned with coins, this is going to be a fake put. The good news is that there is an element of built-in misdirection at the perfect moment. This little counting sequence, where you turn the hands over like this, gives you the opportunity when you pick this sponge up and you go to perform the fake put. All you'll end up doing is hanging on to that sponge as the hand seems to close. As you seem to place it there, the hand curls over it, exposing the sponge that's on the table. So seem to place it here, close your hand, a sponge comes into view. That's the misdirection which helps cover your fake put. Pick up both of those sponges and hold them as before and place them right inside the spectator's hand. Have them close their hand. Now you make a little magic kind of thing. Show that mine's vanished. They open their hand to discover that both have appeared inside of their hand. Just as before, practice alternating between really putting it into your hand and faking it. You can try this in front of a mirror to see what it looks like. But as before with the fake take, when it looks the same when you fake it as when you actually put it into your hand, then you know you're ready to perform it for someone. Now this looks pretty neat and pretty special, but that's not really what makes the magic happen. It's this. That's right. It's my special magic wand. No, I know it's disguised as a cheap magic marker, but that's just a disguise. Now, and I'm even going to do this a little bit differently. See, I used to do this by just tapping like this and causing the sponge ball to go down to my elbow. But causing the sponge to go down to my elbow like this, it's not nearly as impressive if I were to say, hold out your hand. Place it right there. Close your hand over it. Turn your hand upside down. There you go. And now I need one other thing. Now see, if I were to take, you see, I have a second one like this. But if I take this second one and I tap just like that, it disappears. Let's see if yours disappeared. Whoa, that's kind of interesting. See, they actually can travel to different places. Here, do me a favor, hold out your hand, and I want to give you both of them. Now close your hand tight. There you go. I'm going to need that. And I take out one more just like this. Let's see if I can make it happen that way. No, it actually has to be inside my hand. There you go. Let's see if it happened. Whoa, all three of them. Well, here, hold out your hand. I want to give you all three of them. And close your hand tight. There you go. Now you'll need to hold out your hand because I need to gather up a little bit of it that kind of rubbed onto your hand, and hold out your hand. I can gather a little bit more of it that rubbed onto yours and mine too, just like this, and I touch. Now there should be four. Let's see. Isn't that weird? In performing this routine with the multiple sponges, we've added one little extra technique that helps us cover some of the magic that takes place. Now, this looks like an ordinary magic marker, but it serves a purpose. You see, if I were to do a fake put or a fake take, the thing that's going to help this hand look and feel natural is being able to hold anything else at the same time. That's actually the number one use of the magician's wand, is to just give that hand something to do when it's actually hiding something. And that's the reason you build in a little something like this, because at different times you're going to be hiding something in your hand, and this is going to make it easier. Now these soft sponges, I've got 4 in my left pocket. I begin by reaching in and taking out one visibly while hiding one in my hand. I act as if I'm going to think. I go, I know what I'm going to do. I'll try it a little different. Now, during that little moment, I leave one of those sponges underneath my arm. I know what I'll do, and then I just show the one that was hidden. Now, I'll do a fake transfer, show that it's vanished, and then seem to pull it out of my elbow. I'll do that same move, only now I'll reach behind this elbow and pull out the second sponge. Now, I'm one sponge ahead. At this point, I'll ask a spectator to hold out their hand. And as I squeeze the 2 sponges as one, I'll place it into their hand and close it, having them turn their hand over at this point typically prevents them from opening their hand too soon and discovering that they've got something inside. So have them turn their hand palm down. But again, they don't even suspect a second sponge is going to come into the picture until this point. Now I'll show you what I can do. Remember, the magic wand makes the ball travel invisibly, so if I were to place it here and tap, why, mine traveled. It's not under my elbows. Let's see if yours is, why, looky there. They both ended up in her hand. At that point, I add the third ball. I go to someone else's hand and say, hold on to this, turn it over, hold those two tight, because I've got another one. At this point, another fate transfer. It seems to disappear. Have them turn their hand back over. By golly, there's all three. Now, you could, if you want, conclude right at that point. But they don't know that there's an extra sponge involved, so you can add the fourth one to those three. Place the 4 into their hand as 3. And then seam together up little magical pieces of the sponge, just enough of which to cause yet another sponge ball to appear inside of someone's hand. Thank you, Hannah. Now, when it comes to close-up magic, nothing beats having something magical appear inside someone's hand. This is so strong that you will frequently be asked to do this again. So be prepared to say something like, I promised the person who taught it to me that I'd only do it once. If you'd like, you can make this promise to me right now, because as simple as a promise is, you can stick to it if you try. If you look at almost any beginning book on magic, you'll see a list of basic rules. Here's a few of the most common basic rules. Number 1, never repeat a trick. Number 2, never reveal how a trick is done. Number 3, never tell them what's going to happen. And number 4, practice, practice, practice. Now, of course, there are always exceptions to these rules. For example, sometimes repeating a trick makes it better. As for never revealing a secret, well, that's how I got into magic, and now that's how you're getting into magic. It occasionally does make sense to share a trick with someone if you really think they'll practice and perform it. The point is, you never want to reveal how something is done just to satisfy someone's curiosity. That would destroy the experience of magic that you've just created for them. As for never telling an audience what's going to happen, it really depends on the nature of the secret and how much it depends upon surprise to be effective. Regarding practice, realize there are different types of practice. Sleight of hand and practice are synonymous. If you want to do good sleight of hand, the more you practice, the better you'll get. But not all magic effects require that kind of practice. Sometimes the secret does everything for you. Then the nature of practice changes to thinking about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it to get the most out of the magic. One of the best ways to get better is to really pay attention to how people react to what you do. Each performance should be a learning experience. So be honest with what's going on so you don't fool yourself into thinking that you're getting away with something that you aren't. Now, if I were to add anything to the basic rules, it would be this. Anyone you perform for should be treated with the same respect and consideration as you would want to be given to your mother or to your mate or to anyone you really care about. This is the one rule that I never break. This is a very special pair of scissors. Now, I know it looks like an ordinary pair of scissors to the naked eye, even to the dressed eye. It looks like an ordinary pair of scissors. But here's what you can do with this pair of scissors. You see, if I were to take a piece of rope, let's say, I'll go ahead and cut it. Let's get them even there, just like this. Now, if you will hold on to one end, just like this, and I'll put the other ends in my hand. If you'll hold on to that end, the 2 pieces of rope, if I just wave those magic scissors over, pull, pull, you actually feel that moment that it goes back together.
Wow.
Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
This is an amazing illusion, and it's all based on this little setup that you see here, where you untie the two ends from the scissors, and you cut, and you cut. Now you gotta admit, by golly, looks like a couple of pieces of string to me, but when you pull, it's all back together. It's all based on properties built into this type of twine. You see, it's a double strand. And if I twist that double strand right at the center, I can cause and then retwist them, I can cause it to seem as if that's two ends. Now you could just bring it out like this and then make it go back together, but no one's particularly convinced necessarily that it's cut if this is all that you did. So we're going to do something sneaky. Take a little bit of glue, put it right onto the end, we roll those two ends together, and that now looks like the center. Now we take the real center and we seem to tie that by just doing one overhand knot onto the handle of the scissors. Now if I hold the center, for all intents and purposes, that's a strand of string that's tied at the center. So now you're tied or onto the handle of the scissors anyway there, so you seem to untie that. Now you cut. It becomes uneven, so you even it up, and that gets rid of what was originally the two ends of the rope. You place the other two ends inside the hand, have someone pull on either end, and here's what happens. Those two ends become a middle. And that's the cut and restore twine. When shopping for magic, you'll occasionally see statements such as, "No skill required." Well, it's important to realize that what this really means is that there are no difficult technical moves or complicated choreography, but the performance of magic always requires that you communicate something clearly to someone else. And since you almost always must communicate something other than what's actually happening, that will require skill and thought to be successful. In fact, so-called self-working tricks frequently require more skill as a communicator than some which require sleight of hand. So as you shop for magic, realize that while some magic might require no sleight of hand, it does not in any way mean that there is no skill required. Communicating ideas and doing a performance always takes people skills, which you should always be practicing and improving. You know, one of the oldest illusions known to man is the mystery of the Chinese rings. Have you heard of this, where they take solid and take it straight through solid? Now, what's interesting about that is you can do it with anything. You don't need solid metal rings. All you need is an unbroken circle. And as you can see, that's an unbroken circle, and that's an unbroken circle. Okay? And I can cause the exact same thing to happen just using something as simple as this. Now, I'll put one on my little fingers, one on my index fingers. Let's see, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Hold out your right hand for me and see those two center strands right there? Pinch the two center strands together. Very good. And now roll your fingers back and forth. Just kind of twist them around like this and let go anytime you want.
Like that?
Mm-hmm. And you'll see that you've linked solid through solid, okay? There's no question that they're linked together. Now, the interesting thing is that it works even with your left hand. There you go. See, I'd give my right arm to be ambidextrous. Okay, with your left hand, just go ahead, pinch them, and give them a twist just like this. And when you let go, you'll see that they come apart, and everything's examinable.
Great.
This was originally invented by Dan Harlan and was done with rubber bands. I began using the headbands because they're so visual, but the same moves can be done with rubber bands. You begin with one band between the index fingers and one band stretched between the little fingers. The method can be explained in 5 words. Change the center strands twice. And what I mean by that is you change their position once, keeping your 2 middle fingers in between, and then you change those again. So essentially what you've done is you've just wrapped them around each other and then held them in with those 2 fingers. From the front, everything seems exactly as it should. Now, in changing the 2 center strands twice, really, you just wrap it all the way around, put them back into their original situations. Now, to cause those to seem to link, just release one set of 2 fingers, and you create the perfect illusion that they're linked at the center. Of course, they don't see this over here. That's kept inside your hand. But boy, it sure looks good there. To release, just let go of those 2 fingers and they come apart. Wrap them around the center. Now you could do a visual kind of thing like this where they seem to just visibly link and unlink. But what I like to do is involve someone so that they can connect themselves to what's taking place. So I invite a spectator to step up and I ask them to pinch the 2 center strands together. Now notice that when they do that, their hand blocks one of your hands from their own view. As you tell them what to do, you say, just roll these together, and as you do, you let go under cover of their own hand, and when they let go, it seems as if it links together. Now they are the ones that unlink them. This time use your other hand. Notice that conceals your other hand from their view. As you say, yeah, just twist them, and then when they let go, it seems as if they've melted apart while in between their own fingers. Now, let's show you what that looks like with the rubber bands, just so you'll see that you'll need 2 different color rubber bands. You wrap it around, that's what it looks like, and that's how it links and unlinks. But as long as we've got the rubber bands out, I'll show you something else that you can do with a rubber band and any thumb. Now, if I were to loop that around my thumb and lock it so that it's doubled around, watch. All I do is pull. Like a ghost through a castle wall, it snaps right through my thumb. Here's how it's done. As you place the rubber band onto your thumb and push it away from you, you bring the opposite end over. Now as you come back, you can see how that unloops the original loop except for that little catch. So pull, index finger pulls, catch it there, and now it sure seems like that rubber band snaps right through your thumb. Let me go ahead and have you examine that, make sure that's what it, anybody have a ring that I can borrow? A ring, a finger ring. Can I have that one, or borrow it as it were?
Sure.
Good. Nothing particularly high-tech about this, is there? No gimmicks, trapdoors, or mechanisms hidden inside of there? Well, what's interesting is that this ring, in true Lake Tahoe fashion, can turn into a rubber ski lift.
Look at it.
And take itself all the way to the top.
Wow.
Ta-da! Isn't that weird?
Cool. That's awesome.
The rubber ski lift begins by breaking one band and putting it through a ring, and then, just by whistling, it seems to visibly travel up the ski lift all the way to the top. This beautiful visual novelty works because of the very nature of rubber bands. All you have to do is stretch the broken rubber band as you place it through the other ring. What you'll do is put it through just a small 1-inch portion of it, and then pull that very tight and pick up the ring. The rest of the band is inside of your hand, and as you slowly let the tension release, it seems as if the ring is traveling straight up to the top of the ski lift. But now that you've seen a few things based on secrets and ingenuity, you might wonder, why learn any difficult magic at all? Well, beyond the pride of accomplishment, there are reasons why a batter swings with a heavy bat before he steps to the plate. Once you swing that big bat, everything else seems really easy. Plus, some of the more difficult effects are so astonishing that they're worth the extra effort. So explore the full range of magic, both demanding as well as simple, because it's all part of building a broad, deep foundation. Well, so we've gathered up a few ones from amongst our belongings here, and we have, it looks like 4 ones. Do me a favor and mix those up, Scotty, so that nobody could know whose one is where. And Sue, would you do me a favor? And I'd like you to select any one of those ones that you'd like to have. Okay.
Second one.
The second one.
On the
There,
top.
right there. And do me a favor and crumble this into a tight ball for me and place it right into the center of the. This is an ancient form of Chinese paper folding known as origami. You'll notice that she's made a ball. That's one of the more simple, forms, but that's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. I want to take that and I'm going to cover it just like this, so that there's no chance for any sort of funny stuff. And I'm going to take out, let's see, a pen. I'll give that to you. And I'm going to need one other thing, and it's going to be just a business card for you to write some numbers down.
Okay.
What I want to do is I'm going to concentrate on the dollar and write these numbers down. There's an 8, okay, say 804 5 0 9 3 9 U. There you go. So 804 509 39U. Do me a favor, make sure that it is in fact the correct serial number on there.
804-50-939-U.
Oh,
Exactly to the number.
How did you do that?
Serial killer is one of those great effects in which you really seem to be reading someone's mind. Anyone who's seen Glenn Falkenstein and Francis Willard perform their mind-reading effects where they seem to take any dollar bill and read the serial number off of it is so astonishing. But their techniques are quite advanced compared to the simplicity of this great little close-up effect. All you have to do is crumble one bill up, which you're going to have the serial number memorized. Okay, that's going to be hidden. Now, after you go through a process of making it very clear that there's no way that you could have influenced which banknote is actually going to be used, you have them crumble it up and place it in a small ball onto the table. And then you have them cover it with a handkerchief of some sort. Now, you go through the process of dramatically reading the serial number off of the bill, keeping that one hidden in your hand as you do so. And here comes the beautiful timing of the switch that takes place. It's going to seem as if you just pick it up, the handkerchief, off of the banknote, but as you do, you release the one in your hand. The result is that ends up sitting in the exact spot that the previous one was. And you've just got the one that they crumbled up inside of the handkerchief, which you then go on to put into your pocket. Now this switch is so invisible at the moment that it takes place and so unexpected because everything up to this point has been so fair. I'm going to show you one more time. At this point, you just say, look, go ahead, see if we got it right as you place this away, ditching that other banknote as you do. Now, this is an interesting part. As they then unroll this to verify that, by golly, you did get the serial number correct, you can logically say, well, here, let me replace that bill with a crisp one. By replacing that bill with a crisp one, you get to keep the one that you've memorized the serial number on and use it over and over and over again. But there's nothing quite as personal as seeming to read someone's mind or to do some sort of mental magic. So I hope you like Serial Killer. Well, do me a favor and make sure that that is just what it seems to be. No moving parts or no elastic, no openings or anything like that. I need to borrow a ring. I used yours for one. May I borrow a ring? Oh, wow, there you go. Check that thing out. That's nice. Now that's solid, unbroken circle, except for that one hole right in the middle there where your finger goes. Now, if I were to hold this string like this, there would be only two possible ways to put that ring onto the center of this string. One way, of course, would be to take that shoestring and go straight through that end. The other way, of course, would be to pass my entire body through this ring, have it come down my arm, and then through and loop it on that way. That's the only two ways. Now, if I were to have you hold on to that end and not let go, and if I were to have you hold on to that end and to not let go, the only two ways to get a ring on there would be to either pass this over your entire body and down through that arm and onto it, or to pass this over your body and down your arm and onto the center of that shoestring. But I'm going to make it even more impossible. Just bring it in just a little bit. There you go. If you could do that, I'm going to isolate one portion right in the center of this shoestring, so there'll be no question in your mind exactly where the magic happened, okay? And I'm going to let you double check to make sure that there's no gimmicks or anything associated with that isolated portion of the shoestring.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good.
And I'll place this here. I'm going to place this here. Now, this is such an amazing secret that I have to do it under cover of darkness. So if you would all just close your eyes for a few minutes. No, I got a better idea. How about this? Instead of having you close your eyes, I'll just go underneath a handkerchief like this. Now, when you loaned me this ring, did you know by any chance whether or not it was a ghost ring or not? Oh, so there's no way that it could solid could go through solid unless there was magic associated with it. Well, here's what happens. If I give it just a snap, it did in fact happen. Let go of your ends, if you would, please. Let go. There you go. But hang on. There. Hang on to this end. Hang on to that end. And notice, you check for sure, is that locked on to the center of that shoestring? Isolated in the center there? The only way to possibly get it off would be to either take this down over his arm, down his body, or you could let go just like that, and I could slide this back to you, and there is your ring. There you go. The ghost ring is an amazing penetration that can take place with a borrowed ring. All you would ever need to carry around with you is a covering, a shoestring, and a safety pin. You really want to emphasize the impossibility of solid passing through solid. So after you've made it clear that there's only one way to get a ring onto a string by going on either one end or the other end, you then seem to make it even more impossible by putting a safety pin through the shoestring to isolate a portion of the shoestring that's going to be penetrated. Then you cover what's taking place. And here's what takes place underneath that handkerchief. What you'll do is place the ring so that the shoestring can go straight through. So put that loop straight through the ring. Now you're going to put your finger there so that that won't pull back through as you take the safety pin from one side of the string. Then you're going to reattach the safety pin on the opposite side of the ring and lock it back. Now, you'll need to place one finger in between the safety pin and the ring, just like this. At that point, you act as if it's done. Let's take it out, let go of your ends, and now a little con takes place because they actually have to let go of one end of the string as you pull it out from underneath the handkerchief. But as you pull, here's what takes place. This end comes through the ring, slips all the way around as you then say, okay, be sure and hang on, but obviously it's too late. In that instant that you've pulled it through, what's taken place is the ring is now locked on to the center of the shoestring such that you have to take the safety pin off and thread the shoestring from the center of the ring as everyone can examine what's taken place. Cards are the most popular genre of magic because they represent a small contained universe of endless magical possibilities that you can carry in your pocket. Even without doing magic, there are amazing things about a deck of cards. For example, with a deck of 52, you can spell all the values of the deck. That is, spell A-C-E, T-O-W, or T-W-O, there you go, T-H-R-E-E, F-O-U-R, all the way through King. And it requires exactly 52 cards of a deck. And this works even when spelling the values in French, German, Afrikanese, and all other major languages. And no one seems to know why. There are other coincidences. There are 4 suits in a deck, and there are 4 seasons, 52 cards in 52 weeks. Adding all the spots on the card, and you get 365, the exact same number of days in the year. But even more strange is how a person and a deck can sometimes communicate with each other. Let's take a look at the possibilities. You know, so much magic can be done with a deck of cards, but some of the most interesting has to do with the mind. You've probably seen the ESP cards that they use, right? With the circles and the squares and things like that. The thought behind that was that if I could transmit something, it would be something simple. But what they discovered is that it actually works better with regular playing cards because, you know, those ESP cards, you know, were so uncommon that people couldn't relate to them. Now, I want to try a little experiment with the mind here. Let me take, well, let me start with you here. Now, could you possibly guess what color that card was?
It's red.
Almost. Almost. Give it one more try. Okay, what color would this card be?
Red.
Oh, see, you know, you're getting into it. You're getting into it. You know, let's try actually going through the entire deck. Now, my advice on this is to, you know, don't think, don't weigh it in your mind. Just go with the first thought that comes into your mind. In fact, the less you think about and analyze, the more natural, you know, the response is. Okay. So just, you know, sometimes I'll take 2 cards out, sometimes I'll take 3, sometimes I'll take 1. Red or black?
Red.
Okay. Let's see.
Black.
Okay. And let's do 2.
Black.
Okay. And I'm going to try as hard as I can not to
Red.
give you any indication as to whether or not you're on a roll or anything like that.
Black.
Oh, very good, very good.
Red.
Okay. And I'm going to try and make it just as
Red.
genuinely random. Now, see, actually what's taking place now is a very specific mental thing. I'm trying to project certain impressions to you. There's several different types of mental telepathy.
Red.
Very good. And, oh, I shouldn't have said good. I'm sorry.
Red.
Because I don't want to influence anything that you might say or any of these that you might do. Okay. And,
Black.
okay. You know, I want to change what's going to take place. I want to shuffle the cards up. Let's kind of cleanse your mental palette there and try things a little differently so that there's no sort of, you know, here, I'll tell you what, just so that, you know, we can keep things different and no sort of patterns take place by virtue of being closer to you or not. Give them one last shuffle. I want to give you the cards. Now, nobody really knows what color the cards are going to be. I'd like you to take them in groups of one, occasionally when you feel the impulse, a group of two or even three, and divide the cards. Place the red ones here, place the black ones here.
Okay.
Now, as we set our expectations for what's likely to happen, you have to understand the law of averages with something like this. I mean, to do it correct to any extent is like hundreds of thousands of millions to one. So, but it is interesting as an experiment just to see how in tune with the deck that you might be. Very good, very good. Now, you go ahead and, I'll tell you what, why don't you go ahead and check those out for me, and let's see how well you've done.
Just turn them over.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, how about this? Let's just do it this way. Let's see, these are supposed to be red. Oh, you got one. Uh-oh. Wait a second, wait a second. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Wait a second. Every single one of those you got right.
No
Let's see over here. These are supposed to be black.
No way.
Every single one of those you got. But let's see over here. These are supposed to be red. Look at that. Every single one of those cards you got right. Every single one of them over here. All of these are supposed to be black. By golly, you did in fact beat the odds. You are psychic. Wow, good job. That's out of this world.
Thank you.
Out of thousands of card inventions, this is considered one of the very best. This is Gene Grant's version of the classic Paul Curry effect, out of this world. Over the years, this has fooled scientists, presidents, and even movie stars, who we all know are the smartest people in the world. The first two guesses are pure chance, so have fun with them. No matter what happens, just improvise. After that, however, you only pull out cards of one color. After you established, let's have one card for the blacks, one card for the reds. Now what you'll do is you'll go through, and as they're guessing, you're really only taking all of one color. No matter what they say, you'll pull them up in singles, you can pull them up in twos and threes. Act as if you're moving around the deck to find some different things like this. But in this case, you'll go through and take all of the black cards. Now you'll leave one black card for later on, which we'll discuss in just a moment. But as they go through, act as if, oh, very good. Very good. Let me see. Now I'm trying to predict what you're going to say, and once all of one color have been taken from the deck, except for one, you decide to change things a little bit. Here, let's try it a little differently, just so that you don't get into a mental rut. Here's what I'll do. Let's put the black ones over here and the red ones over here. Now you just go through the same as you did before, sometimes one at a time, sometimes two at a time, sometimes taking them from different parts. Or what you could do is go ahead and shuffle and have them, with the cards totally face down, do it in their own hands. Either way you want to handle it. Eventually, they get all the way through. And your situation is going to be this. One stack, the stack closest to them, is going to be exactly right. All the blacks and all the reds are going to be exactly right. The others are going to be exactly backwards. So as you ask them, let's see how you've done. Pick up this stack and just casually put the bottom marker on top as you respond to how amazing it is that, why, looky there, all of those were red. You got those right. Let's see how you did down here. Black, you got them all right. Let's check over here. And now you just set that top marker down saying these are supposed to be red, and by golly, they are. That little discrepancy of the marker appearing on the top instead of the bottom goes right by an audience, because what has taken place is so amazing that their mind's just completely full with the impossibility of what they've just done. So cards are amazing, and there are endless fancy ways to handle cards, and these are called flourishes. They all take practice. Some of them take lots of practice, but there are three really fun ones that you can learn with just a little work. The first is the double fan. What you do for the double fan is you take half the cards forward, and what you'll be doing is pinching thumb on top, fingers below, and as you spread your thumb, the cards pretty naturally spread out into a fan. Now what makes it neat is when you do it with both hands. So hold the deck with half of them jogged over to one side, thumb on top, fingers below, and do the same thing with both hands. And it looks pretty neat. And then you just set the cards back down. So it'll look something like this. Now what you do is rub them against each other and then let the fans close. And it certainly is a nice look. The second is what's known as the swivel rule cut. Follow along with the cards in your hand. Okay? Place them just like this so that you've got it here. And what you're going to do is take your index finger and you're going to push half of those cards forward. And it rolls around the middle finger. Those fall into your hand. Then keep this here as you'll pick up one portion here, place it here, and now you move forward and place the cards down. So let me do it again for you. Index finger, the left hand, to here. Now you're set up to use the right index finger to here. You'll swivel around, and then to the bottom. Now, let's say you had an ace secretly on the bottom of the deck. What you could do is get that little break there, fingers in the front, thumb in the back, the left index finger rolls it to here, your right index finger takes it to here and move forward. And now as you come down, the left thumb pulls that card off the bottom, and you can seem to produce an ace right from the center of the deck with some fancy cuts. Now, this is the one that's going to take the most practice. Ideally, the cards spring from the thumb and the fingers at the same time. Put a little pressure in there, and then as you spill them from the tips of the fingers, they spring into the opposite hand. It helped me to learn it by releasing the thumb first. You see, that way I could use my body to help catch them. I used to practice this over my bed so that I didn't have to keep picking the cards up off of the floor. If I'd stand on my knees on the bed, I wouldn't have as far to bend over to pick the cards up. Because, yes, every single great card magician has spent a huge amount of time picking up their dropped cards. So, if you drop a few cards, you'll be in good company. And now, you have amazing things to do with the cards, a few fancy things to do with the deck. And if this sparks an interest in you, you can spend the rest of your life exploring the thousands of magical possibilities with a deck of cards. Here's a list of some of the very best ways to get started. There are two international magic organizations. There's the International Brotherhood of Magicians and the Society of American Magicians. They have hundreds of local assemblies and/or rings, and they can provide you information on how you might join or visit. Each organization, as part of their inexpensive membership, mails to you their magic magazine each month. These are full of interesting advice and magic that you can perform, and the latest in magic tricks and props. For those wanting even more information, there's Magic, an independent magazine for magicians. I subscribe to Magic for a greater balance of information on conventions, new illusions, news, and insights on famous magicians. Magic has attracted some truly amazing individuals, and there seems to be an endless supply of new ideas being discussed and promoted. There is probably no better way to gain a real insight into the world of magic than through our magazines. Each international organization also features their own convention, which appears in a different city each year. But there are other independent conventions appearing all the time, which you can learn about in your magic magazines. The most amazing thing I noticed about these conventions was how approachable the stars were and how fascinating they turned out to be in real life. Conventions like this also give you access to the state-of-the-art magic devices and learning tools. Another wonderful feature of magic conventions is the magic lecture. This mind-expanding experience is a wonderful way to learn more and to provide yourself with excellent role modeling. Because after all, seeing what is possible is the first step towards attaining that yourself. I know this is true from personal experience. Bill Smith took me to my first magic convention back in 1976, and it blew me away. Growing up in that little West Virginia town, I had bought a book on secret card techniques, which to me simply didn't seem possible. In fact, I was convinced these things could not be done. So I tossed the book to one side. But at that first convention, a guy completely fooled me with a card trick. As he was teaching me how it was done, I recognized one of the moves as having come from that book. Suddenly, I knew. In an instant, these techniques were possible. I'll never forget the feeling behind that realization. I promised myself on the spot I would return to that book and I would learn everything it contained, front to back. And for me, nothing has ever been the same. So the role modeling you can experience at a magic convention or at a magic lecture that might come to your hometown can provide priceless, mind-expanding opportunities. So go see what's possible, because a mind expanded can never really return to its original shape. Hopefully, you'll live near an active magic club or shop, because top stars of magic frequently visit with the very latest developments in magic. I've even been known to do a lecture or two myself. One of the more exotic genres of magic is that of having something appear inside of an impossible location, like having a card appear inside a grapefruit or a dollar inside of a roll of lifesavers. But one of the most unusual versions of this effect uses something that's secret, which few people know about. What I've got to show you now is so amazing that if I used my own quarter, you'd think it was some kind of a trick. That's the reason I've asked one of you to bring a quarter. Did one of you bring a quarter? No? Oh, we have a quarter. And so that you'll know, that's the quarter we're going to use. I'd like you to mark it, draw a mustache or an eye patch, so that there'll be no question. When you see it again, that's the one that we started with. Good job, good job. Now I'm going to place that quarter, get a little mark on it, inside of this paper here. Fold it around just like this. Now, if I were to move it around like this, would you be able to guess which is heads up or tails up? Well, let's see if I can figure this out. You probably did this when you were younger to see what was inside of there. Why, it looks like in this particular case, it is the eagle side up, the tail side up. Let's see, well, that's pretty neat. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to place it right there though, and I want to get something from down here because at this point, I'm going to do something kind of dramatic to that coin. I'll take the match and I'll burn it. Now the interesting thing is, you can actually see the coin kind of dissolve, turning into flame, turning into ash, turning into smoke. Now if I take the match book and I just wave it over it like this, something amazing happens. You see, it's dissolved and actually reappeared inside the fibers of the book of matches. As you can see, it's actually encased inside. Go ahead and verify. You can tell, even by drawing on it, as you can see, by golly, that looks to be George right inside that book of matches. But let's tear it open. Actually, take it apart, peeling it back, and you'll notice that there's an identifying mark in there. Is that the quarter that you just loaned me?
Sure is.
My golly, isn't that weird? The appearance inside of a book of matches seems particularly impossible because it isn't just among the matches, it's impossibly embedded inside the very molecules of the paper that form the matchbook. And if you want, it could also have appeared inside of a business card. This ingenious idea was invented by Doug Bennett. I remember seeing Doug Henning perform this for Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show, where he got a tremendous reaction. This exciting magical concept is based on the fact that most business cards and virtually every book of matches are made from paper which has several layers, which you can separate with a little practice. To do this, tap one corner of the paper onto something hard, and you'll notice that it starts to separate, revealing different layers of the paper. Continue separating very carefully, and you can peel it all the way back. Now, you'll coat both sides of this with rubber cement. And this is going to be placed to one side as you perform the effect. So, a little rubber cement on this side, a little rubber cement on this side. There we go. And let that dry. I kept that on my lap during the performance once we started. And from here, you borrow a coin. They can mark that coin any way they want. Make sure it's a nice dark mark and that they remember maybe even the date or something, because sometimes the rubber cement will affect that mark on the coin. Now you take a small piece of paper that is folded around the coin. This is known as the coin fold, because this particular fold, once you place the coin inside, You fold it down and you'll notice there's a ledge right here. That's the ledge the coin's going to slip out of in just a moment. But you fold this back this way, fold this back this way, and your thumb will hide that as you show it all around. Now, Doug had a very clever way of justifying putting it inside of the paper by saying, can you guess which way it turns? And at this point, to confirm that the coin was still inside there, he did the old thing of rubbing it with a pencil, which kind of embosses the image of either the head or the tail of the coin onto the paper so that they can clearly see that why it's tail side up. Now at this point, you squeeze the paper and that coin will then slip inside of your hand. As you then set that down onto the ashtray. Now you're going to go underneath the table, and when you do, you place the coin onto that book of matches and then fold that flap back over, and now the rubber cement seals itself. As you take out the book of matches, fold it back, take out one of the matches, close the book of matches, and as you're doing this, you're also making certain that that rubber cement is resealed all the way around. And then strike the match, and then burn the paper. Now the interesting thing here is that as they see that image burning, they see that drawn-on portion of the coin seeming to dissolve right along with the coin which was inside. And now you show them the impossible reality that now the coin is trapped inside of the very fibers of the paper. Again, if you want to confirm, you can show with the pencil the image of the coin trapped inside of the book of matches as you then tear, just like this, to confirm that the coin was in fact embedded with its original mark right in the fibers of the paper. In closing, the magic we've shared represents some of the very best, easy to perform magic. It's the kind of magic and information that I spent years acquiring, and yet it's still just a small sample of the fun you'll have during your journey through the exciting world of magic. I'm going to perform now for some friends, but why don't you watch the first routine? It's a classic of magic that uses one of the moves you've learned, plus several you haven't. Who knows? It might be the kind of thing you might be practicing somewhere down the road. People often ask, do magicians have scales the way musicians have scales? You know, something that develops their ability as they perform it. And this is it. It's a classic. In fact, it's kind of a rite of passage for all sleight of hand performers, starting with 3 simple cups and one thing very important, a magic wand. See, because all I have to do is reach and squeeze like this. And I get a little baseball right from the tip of the wand. That's for cup number 1. Now, for cup number 2, all I have to do is take it and spin and tap, and I get a second ball for a second cup. Now, you can do other things with these same props. For example, I could just touch, put a little magic onto the cup, and solid passes straight through solid. That's an impossible penetration. Oh, but that's ball number 1 for cup number 1. That's ball number 2 for cup number 2. For the third, all I have to do is spin the wand twice, once, twice, and tap. I get ball number 3 right where I want it, right on top of the cup. Now that you have them out here, it's time to start the effect. Now, you know, at each phase, I'm actually going to make it easier and easier to follow, so there's no chance for confusion. And if you think about it, it's already pretty simple. All I do is close my hand, okay? Nothing funny. And I push the wand through the hand, and ball number 1 disappears. Now, you may not have known what to expect, so I'll do it again. In fact, I'll do it exactly the same way, just a little different. That's ball number 2. Now, ball number 3, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll actually leave my hand open so that you see the moment that the ball disappears. All I have to do is tap, and when it disappears, it goes back to its cup. That's 1, that's 2, and of course, that's 3. But you know, I said I'd make it easier to follow, so I get rid of one of the balls. I'll even get rid of one of the cups. Now think how simple it's going to be. I'll even get rid of the wand. 2 and 2, piece of cake, no chance for confusion. I'll even do it in slow motion, 1 ball inside of each cup. No question. All I do is snap, and the balls change places. It's subtle, but you know what? It'd be better if I put 2 cups over one. I cause this one to join the other one. That way it'd be clear exactly what happened, but I want to make it even easier to follow by getting rid of 1 more ball. I'll get rid of 1 more cup. Now think how simple it's going to be. All I have to do is blow, just a simple blow. And the ball will disappear. I'll do it out here. The ball disappears, it comes back to its cup. Sometimes I put it over here. I get a little snaps till it comes back to the cup. It works every time. And I tell you what, I wanted to end with a surprise. So here's what I'll do. I'll put these back. See, now it's like the 3 shells in the pea. Would it surprise you if I could make this ball disappear and reappear inside any cup you named?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Let's see. See what you got.
Well, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do it different. I'll put it away, and this time I'll just snap. Now, when I just snap, you can never tell what'll turn up. Get it? See? Turn up. That's a turn up. That's a lemon. That's a big one. This fudge for you.